All right, here we go.
All right,
We're gonna
let's
get
do
started
it.
right now.
Yeah. Do I have to clap or anything?
Clap. Oh no, we use auto sync. All right, here we go.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, this is my first glass interview.
Oh, I don't have to look at the camera to look at your eye,
You can
or
look
if you can even
straight
tell.
at me. I don't know if they'll be able to tell,
Yeah.
but all right, here we go.
Dope.
This is brand new thing I'm doing. Did I even finish telling you what I did before?
No.
So I did the whiskey interview with Rodney Charters, and people loved just sitting and talking. And instead of whiskey with you, we're
We have
doing water.
water.
in a coffee shop, though.
I wish we had whiskey, but that's okay.
All right, Anna. I asked you to come here because you just did an amazing internet project
Oh, thank you.
called Riley Rewind.
Yes. Yes,
I had the pleasure of shooting a few pickups for you.
Yes, you
That's
did.
how I met you. And well, how has it gone? That's what I want to know first. How has it gone now that it's over?
Now that it's over, it's a great relief. Especially because, to be honest, we didn't think Ray's audience was going to like it very much.
Oh.
His audience is predominantly male, 18 to 24, and what I write just appeals to female, 13 to 17. It's just something I know.
Yeah.
But like the reception has been really, really positive, and so I'm really happy about that. And now it's just kind of like, okay, let's do season 2 now, but where are we going to find the money? Because we paid out of pocket for season 1, and it was like $100,000, and so now we're like, okay, can't do that forever.
No.
So now it's like trying to figure out deals with Netflix, or maybe even pitch it to Facebook, because Facebook apparently wants to take over the world now.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like, I guess we're both kind of just really hungry to start a new project and get back on set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sounds like that's your feeling.
Yeah.
Of just like, okay, we want to get back out there.
Yeah.
So you guys finished this shooting quite a while ago, right?
Yes, we had a lot of problems with our producer, and it set us back 6 months because he was supposed to be in post. And then we found out he was shooting different projects after he'd already been paid and hadn't even started post with ours.
Oh no.
And so we had to let him go.
Yeah.
Especially because he couldn't account for like $15,000 worth of budget. He had no receipts for anything. Was kind of guesstimating. And so we had to hire a new person and then like really barrel through post and set a date and just be like, this is when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that, I feel for you for that because we've had to deal with a lot of that kind of stuff. But it's not uncommon
It
to
is
deal with
not.
that.
It's so weird. Like, I just had to fire a graphic designer the other day, and like, I feel terrible when you do it, but at the same time, you're like, your job, you just need to do your job. Like, that's what I'm hiring you for. Like, you want that person to succeed, and you want to work well together. And
so how did you find these people that ended up not working out?
I don't want to name. I don't want to.
No, don't name names.
Yeah.
Were they just referrals?
We knew him. He actually is very well known for his work.
Yeah.
He has great things online.
Yeah.
And such cinematic quality to his cinematography, and we
Yeah.
loved the look, and he just did not care with our project. It looks nothing like his normal stuff. Nowhere close. He ended up putting out his own project when we fired him, and it looked amazing. And so we were like really deeply upset about it. But I don't know, it's just, Ray puts it really well. He says there's so many talented people in LA, but no work ethic.
That, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
A massive part of me just wholeheartedly agrees.
Yeah.
But then I look at you, and I look at a couple of the other people that I personally, would not do a shoot without.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, there are those people.
They're there.
We just have to find them.
It's like the needles in the hay. You're like, where are you?
Yeah.
But,
It's so tough to find those people.
But once you do, I mean, you're like you for life.
Yes.
You for life.
Yes.
And it's great because when you find someone who does their job, who loves their job, who it's like their career, then those are the people when you surround yourself on set. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So, okay, let's back up for a second.
Yes.
What do you do? Because we're going to put this on our blog.
Okay.
And our blog might not have people that know exactly what you
Oh,
do.
yeah. Well, hello. I'm Anna Akana. I am a writer and an actress living in LA for like 3 years now, I think. I audition and I write and do my own weekly sketch show where I play all the parts. And so far, I'm trying to do more narrative and focus on narrative and movies and trying to bring more narrative content to the internet space.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, when we shot just those pickup shots, which is kind of like, it's kind of a bit of a voiceover on some of the episodes, a little bit of an actual narration to what's about to come in the episode. I don't know if you remember, but I pulled you aside. I'm like, hey, this writing's great.
Oh, thank you. Ray and I collaborated a lot on that writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like, that's so important.
Yeah.
Like, you look at a lot of the content, especially on YouTube, it's not written.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
So you guys doing a scripted content thing was so exciting to be involved in, so exciting to see. And now that I watched it, I remember I texted you and I was like, I'm about to watch it finally.
Yeah.
And I could not stop.
Oh, that's great.
I went through, I binge watched.
Yay. That's what we want.
All of it. And it was great. So you mentioned a second ago that you want to keep producing stuff.
Yes.
What's your dream project? Like, what would be, like, okay, this is what we would do next. If someone just came along and said, you get all the creative power in the world, I'm not going to do anything creative, just here's a bunch of money.
Probably franchises.
Yeah.
Sci-fi, fantasy, maybe some dark stuff, franchises, because that's all that we like to consume. You know, the stuff on TV these days is 1,000 times better than the movies, and I think it's all drama and sci-fi and stuff like that, because we both love, like, comic books and, like, you know, graphic novels and shit like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So I've been waiting for Y the Last Man to be adapted for so long, and they finally got a director attached, and I'm just, like, fangirling the fuck out. So I'm not, like, I hope eventually with our production company we can start doing movies that are sci-fi based.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what people need to do. They need to throw money at you that want sci-fi content.
Please. I'll do all my own stunts.
Are you a stunt girl too?
I do a lot of aerial silks and, like, circus stuff.
No
so
way.
hopefully, I, like, don't know if I could, like, fly off of a building, but I could definitely, you know, climb shit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about production. I know it's been a while now.
Yes.
But that's where I exist in the filmmaking world, is
Yes.
production. Think back to when you guys first started planning this out. What were your expectations going into it?
Well, initially our budget was $35,000.
Yeah.
That was what we were quoted by, and then it just kept skyrocketing from there. So the project actually almost died,
Yeah.
because our producer guy is the one who said, "Oh, it's going to cost X amount more," after we'd already paid for everything. And so it was like the couple days before shooting, and we were like, that's out of our budget, we can't do that. And so Ray was like, we have to stop the project. I have to call a loss on the $35,000, and we won't move forward. And so I cried and I cried and I cried, and he felt really bad. And so he was like, okay, let's do it then. You know, it was just kind of like, well, this is what we wanted to do, and we want to show that we can do these things. And it was just like a really heartbreaking moment. But actual production itself, oh my God, it, like, flew by.
Yeah.
So much fun.
How
Like,
long did you shoot for?
2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
2 weeks at the school, and then a couple of days at the house locations.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's really wonderful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Was it long days for you?
They're about 12, 15-hour days, but I mean, they fly. Especially when you're not just sitting in a trailer, like, waiting to act, and you're actually, like, producing and making sure stuff is going right and moving around. Then yeah.
So you weren't able to have the luxury of just writing and just acting.
Yeah, no, I produced as well. But I love producing.
Yeah.
It's confusing most of the time. So you're like, okay, I have to somehow get a fog machine here in the next hour. Like, go, you know? And you have no idea how to do it, but you just do it.
Yeah. So, okay, Riley Rewind is a big production.
Yeah.
It's on par with a TV show production. When I look at it, that's what I see.
Oh, thank you.
So, like, what did you do before Riley Rewind that prepared you to actually be like, you know what, we can do this. We can make a TV show.
I don't think we were prepared at all. I think it just came down to we were both kind of tired of the serial content you do online, and it sucks because that consistency is necessary to build an audience.
Oh yeah.
But you also can't do grand scale projects when you have to come up with a 2-minute video every week. And so it got to this point where we were both really unhappy with what we did, and it kind of started feeling more like a day job than anything. And although there are perks to it, It was definitely like, oh, we're pigeonholing ourselves into XYZ. So it came to the point where, it was like, we can do this. We saw, like, I forgot what web series we saw, but someone did something really great with a really meager budget.
Yeah.
And so it was really inspiring. And so we're like, fuck it, let's just do it. Yeah.
So what I'm getting out of this is just go out and do it.
Yeah.
I believe in that so much.
Yeah.
Like just all the projects that I've worked on in the past, like a lot of the time it wasn't like, oh, this project has to be perfect before we do it. It's like getting out and starting and actually doing it. That was more important than having a good project, is actually doing the project.
Yeah. Well, it sucks because, like, with entertainment especially, you have to do it to get better.
Yeah.
So you're like, my first YouTube video was a piece of crap. Like, it was literally me holding the camera singing, like, walking around town or something. And then you learn and you get more inventive and you get more creative. And I've always believed, like, movies and, like, hour-long content is the same thing. You just have to make so many of them with a focus on improving to actually get really good.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about internet versus traditional media. I have pretty strong feelings about this.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a passion of mine to make internet content.
Yes.
I love the freedom that it allows me to have. But then my ultimate goal is, I'll probably never stop making content for the internet, but my ultimate goal is to make movies.
Yes.
So, like, where do you fit in with this? Because obviously, if you want to just never stop making internet content, you can.
Yeah.
You can just keep going, and it'll be a fine living, and that's it.
We'll
well
see.
Maybe not that's it, but, it'll just keep going. But what else do you want to do?
I definitely want to do traditional. I want to get on a series, and I want to have enough money saved up so that I can start producing my own films and showing that I can do it, and then have people, big conglomerate studios give me money, like, just make it rain. But absolutely, I agree. I always want to create internet content. I see YouTube as kind of like a social media thing, like Twitter and Facebook, where you just throw something up there to let people know how you're doing, or to talk to them, or to do something. And people love that connection. Although with 2014 I want to focus more on shorts and storytelling and learning how to do that. I mean, the control that comes with internet, it's unparalleled anywhere else in the entertainment industry. There's so many restrictions, so many clearances, so many forms you have to sign, and it's just like you have to watch your ass and make everyone sign a contract and stuff like that. So absolutely.
It gets really tough. So how are you going to do that? How are you actually going to get out now? You've done something. You're technically, you're capable now of doing scripted content. So what are you going to do next?
Well, I've been trying to write like a 5-6 page short that I want to get going with, like, right after pilot season, or even maybe during, and film on the weekends. A lot of my problems stem from everything I write is really sci-fi, or has a lot of special effects, or it requires like X amount of green screen. And so I was like, okay, maybe I should just hire a writer to write something more like realistic. I'll give them an idea, you go, and then I'll, polish it. Yeah. So that's kind of been my struggle right now, is because everything starts with the writing. Yeah. Everything. And like, if the writing isn't good, then the actual show probably won't be that good as well. So that's what I've been kind of focusing on. Then obviously use cast and crew call once I'm ready, to find some, because it's important to find people that work well, and people that are reliable, and people that, really appreciate their jobs and love their jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to work off of recommendations and stuff like that.
Well, Cast and Crew we built, this isn't an ad for that or anything, but we built that for when you run out of your immediate people, the people that you already trust.
Yeah.
And it's always about vetting people.
Yes.
Like, that is, and we have plans for that, but, that's all future stuff.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you said it all starts with the writing.
Yes.
So, you just said you always write sci-fi and big things. You live in the perfect place in the world to write those big things and get them made. Give me an example of, not like a story, but just like something that you feel like, oh, we can't do that.
Well, I have something called The Magician's Daughter that I've always wanted to do, where her dad's a magician, but she's the one with actual magic. And so she brings the shadow to life to be her mother, and to be her dad's wife.
That's cool.
But everything in it is like magic, and like turning a shadow into a sexy lady. And so I'm like, fuck, this is gonna cost so much money.
But it can if you go the special effects around.
Yes.
But I mean, if I think about like just what you described to me right now, I think about Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And if you use the traditional back in the day filmmaking techniques, maybe there are ways to get these done that don't need to be flashy special effects.
The problem is I get really attached to certain high concept ideas, and so now I'm like, produce other shorts that don't require that much so you can get the basics down. Because I've directed some and I've produced, obviously Riley and stuff like that, but I wouldn't call myself a filmmaker and I wouldn't call myself a director.
I would.
Well, thank you.
But
Thank
you don't have to.
Yeah. I don't feel confident in my knowledge and my ability yet. I feel confident that I'm a writer, I'm an actress, I can do those things. But as far as like the technical side of everything, even though there are other people like you to do the DPing and people to set up lights, like I want to do shorter films and gain that knowledge. So when it comes to that higher sci-fi stuff, I can probably find the money necessary because people can see what else I can do, but I can make it as awesome as I see it in my head.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's a more realistic thing that you want to do?
I don't know, I have a character that I thought would be cool. Is she's not pregnant, but she always wears a pregnant suit and like goes out in public because she likes the way people treat her when they think she's pregnant. So I, and she's like a drug dealer or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I've had that character idea kind of floating around. So I'm like, yeah, there's no special effects in that. You'd have to get a fat suit, but that's fine. So maybe something like that.
So that's cool. So are you writing these things as you as the actor?
A lot of what I write is with me as the actor.
That's good.
Yeah.
I went to an event a few weeks ago, and that's something that stood out to me. There was a girl that she's an actor. She moved to LA a few years ago, and she started a YouTube show, and it's every week. She just makes a new character and acts that character to her best ability.
That's great.
And it's like, I looked at it, I'm like, why don't all actors do this? They become such better actors.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're good at.
Yeah.
So, okay, write stuff for yourself. Exploit yourself. Do all that you can, and then you'll just... You'll mature and you'll get better and you'll do other characters that aren't just your one character that you know how to do.
Well, initially, I mean, I've always kind of been writing, but I've always known, like, I want to act. And the more you're in LA, you realize, especially the color of your skin and, like, all these other factors will determine what you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
At least until you pay your dues, and then you can move on up and showcase yourself.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it's like every story that I write, I'm like, unless I'm going to act in it, what's the point? Or if it's like a book or something, then I'm totally fine not being the main character. But even then, I'm like, oh, it could be adapted into a movie someday. Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, that's like one of Ray and my contentions, because he's like, you can't write yourself as the protagonist of everything. And I'm like, why not? What's the point of writing then?
For now, I think you definitely can.
Yeah.
But if someone comes to you and says, write something else, and they're paying you, go, just do what they want.
I don't think I'd ever be a writer for hire.
No.
I don't think I could do that. I don't take notes well.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You write for you.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
That's good. So, okay. So we got all your like next projects lined up now.
Yes.
So in a few years from now, like where does all this ultimately lead? If you've made a movie now in a few years, like what next? Did you stop? What are you gonna do?
No, I don't think. Ray and I have talked, and we're like, I don't ever want to retire. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's just, I mean, I don't know. I guess the next 10 years I'm setting aside to get better, just learn and get better at the crafts that I really, really like.
Yeah.
Because you watch stuff like, I just saw that Portal short the other day by Trachtenberg. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good, and it's so inspiring, and it's like one of the best shorts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, holy shit, like that's the kind of level I want to be able to get to in 10 years. Like to be able to produce something that good.
Okay, I'll have to watch it to know what you're talking about.
It's called Portal No Escape.
Portal No Escape. Cool. Well, I have it recorded, so I definitely won't forget. All right. So, last things on Riley Rewind.
Yes.
So you guys did a special deal with Facebook. Then you released it on YouTube.
Yes.
Like in your eyes, did it meet your expectations? The response that you received.
It exceeded it by far.
Yeah.
I mean, we released it on Facebook at first, and we were surprised with how many people were praising it and like loving it, and we were like, oh, it's probably just because it's Facebook and there's no downvotes, so we probably just can't see that. And so when it came out on YouTube, the response was still really, really good and nice. Yeah. And the number one thing that got critiqued was my acting, and I was like, I'm okay with that, as long as they like the story. I'm so happy. And Yeah, so we were really, really pleasantly surprised with how much people liked it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've done plenty of things where I put online and then people hate it.
Yeah.
And then I know that feeling. I know what you're talking about. You're, like, so terrified to publish.
Yeah.
Because what if they hate it?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that the internet, has really liked this project. Because I also really liked it. And I hope it continues somehow.
We definitely want to do a season 2. I mean, we left it kind of open to run.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really hoping we can get the money to make it like a really big production. Ideally, we'd do like 6 30-minute episodes. So not even just the 10 minutes. But it's all up to who is going to sponsor us and stuff like that. And then are they going to be really invasive on the creative side?
Yeah.
So.
Have you written that yet?
No, Ray and I both came up with treatments and we weren't satisfied with it. So we decided once we get the money, we're going to hire writers and make a writer's room.
Oh, nice.
Because all the best shows have just, a bunch of minds together to bounce ideas off of.
Especially when you have the sci-fi element that you have.
And time travel, which can be paradoxical.
Man.
Yeah.
All right, let's call up Lost.
No, not Lost, please. No. Breaking Bad crew.
Breaking
they
Bad,
just
not
retired. Yeah. No.
Breaking Bad would be awesome.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get a lot of writers on board. Because, we both know our limits. And, like, as far as creating the next piece, it's like we want it to be the best it can be. And the only way it can do that is through teamwork.
So, okay, the next step, let's say you guys go, you get some deal. Where do you want it shown? Do you want it on the internet or do you want it on TV?
Ideally TV. Our most ideal would be either a network or Netflix picks us up.
Yeah.
Because those are the people with, Ray has a certain amount of distribution, but those are the people that offer distribution with legitimacy.
Yeah.
And a much more massive exposure.
Yeah.
So ideally, hopefully one of those two, but if not, then we'll absolutely put it on the internet because it has to go somewhere.
It does have to go somewhere. That's kind of like the film that I shot last year. It was written as a film, then it was turned into a web series or a digital series, and then was turned back into a film. We shot actually the digital series script, but then it was cut into a feature because that's where our demand was for that particular moment.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it can as long as it's written and shot, it can be
anything.
It can be anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go.
Hell yeah.
All right, Anna. Thank you so much for coming out to water with me.
There's vodka in here someday.
Really, really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you on Riley Rewind.
Yes.
And where else?
YouTube.com/Anna Akana.
All right.
That's me.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.